Wait, what the hell am I doing? I mean, every time I read a book on this show, the shitty adaptation appears. Crap. Roll the credits.
Can't read mine, no, we can't read my poker face. She's got nobody. Can't read mine,
Hey, I'm the Hipster Ninja, saving fandoms one bad adaptation at a time. And you know what? I think it's time for another shitty Fox adaptation. This week we're going to be looking at Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief. If you haven't heard of this, blah blah blah, yada yada yada, roll the explanation.
Published by Texan author Rick Riordan in 2005, the Percy Jackson series follows, well, Percy Jackson, a young child who finds out that his father was a Greek god and is sent to a special camp where he can train with other Greek demigods. The franchise has been well received to the point where Riordan expanded his universe to include Egyptian and Roman mythology. In fact, the series is so successful that in 2010, 1 year after the release of The Last Olympian, the final book in the series, 20th Century Fox released a feature film with Chris Columbus sitting in the director's chair.
Hey, that actually doesn't sound too bad. I mean, he directed the first 2 Harry Potter movies. How bad could he possibly screw it up?
I always win.
I always lose. Maybe we're both wrong.
Okay, point taken. Let's just get this over with. This is Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief.
The movie begins on top of the Empire State Building during a rather aggressive meeting between Poseidon, played by Kevin McKidd, and Zeus, played by Sean Bean.
So that's what happened to Boromir after he died. Shut up.
Zeus tells Poseidon that someone has stolen his Master Lightning Bolt, and that he and his son are the prime suspects. Needless to say, Poseidon gets a little pissy and defends himself by explaining how he's not allowed to visit him, and threatens to take Zeus down if he's harmed. So Zeus gives his brother an ultimatum: return the bolt by the summer solstice, otherwise there will be an all-out war of the gods. We then cut to the not-so-young Percy Jackson, played by Logan I Was Almost Spider-Man Lerman, talking to his friend Grover, played by Brandon We Couldn't Afford a Wayne's brother Jackson, who now uses crutches instead of just walking with a limp.
Dude, what the hell happened? I mean, seriously, you made the first 2 Harry Potter movies, and those were about as faithful adaptations as you could make. You know what? Forget it. There were just way too many differences from the book, to the point where if I tried pointing them all out, we'd be here forever. So you know what? I'm just going to try to ignore them and finish the review.
After sitting in on his English class with their substitute teacher, Mrs. Dodds, Percy goes home to visit his mother Sally, played by Catherine Keener, and her boyfriend Gabe, played by Joe Pantoliano. Percy then proceeds to complain about everything from Gabe being a lazy jackass to his own daddy issues.
Daddy didn't love me!
The next day, we cut in on a class trip to the museum where we meet another one of Percy's teachers, Mr. Bruner, played by Pierce Brosnan, lecturing the students, specifically Percy, about the demigods. After the lecture, Mrs. Dodds decides to pull Percy into an abandoned room to talk, when suddenly...
Where is it?
Whoa, hey. How did you get up there? Whoa!
Okay, where in the fresh green hell did that come from? I mean, I know in the book he got ousted for unknowingly using his powers on a bully, but here he just answers one question correctly and all of a sudden she's like,
"I'ma kill you, damn it, sucker!" So Mrs. Dodds changes into a creature known as a Fury and is about to kill Percy when Mr. Bruner comes in and, I shit you not, talks her into retreating.
Release him or I swear I'll tear you to pieces!
Given what's going to be revealed about him, I can understand why she backed off. But trust me when I say it's still pretty ass-numbingly stupid, considering how it was handled elsewhere.
So Mrs. Dodds retreats and we get to see a bit of Logan Lerman's acting chops.
Ooh, I'm going crazy.
Apparently he thinks he's Liam Neeson.
Worried, Mr. Bruner tells Percy to go with Grover and gives him a pen called Riptide in order to protect himself.
Only use it in times of severe distress.
This is a pen. This is a pen. This is a pen, man.
Okay, just because you repeat a line 3 times does not make it funny. Case in point...
That is a man's head.
So Percy and Grover leave the museum, meet his mom, beat the crap out of Gabe, steal his car, and then proceed to drive Percy to a place where he can be safe. Unfortunately, they're interrupted by a wild minotaur who stops them by... well...
Fetchez la vache! Quoi? Fetchez la vache!
Watch out!
This causes the car to crash, and he begins to charge them. While all this is going on, Grover reveals that he is in fact a satyr, half man,
Half donkey? I'm half goat.
Grover then proceeds to kick out the back window, and our trio proceeds to make a break for a gate with a sign reading Camp Half-Blood. Unfortunately, while Percy and Grover are able to go through no problem, an invisible barrier prevents Sally from going through, and the Minotaur is able to catch up and crush her to dust. This of course doesn't sit well with Percy, and in one of the only scenes that actually happened in the book, he goes to fight the Minotaur by himself, and is able to kill it with its own horn, albeit by accident, and then proceeds to pass out.
He also finds out that the pen Mr. Brunner gave him can turn into a sword.
Use Brunner's pen and click it.
But it really doesn't play that much into the actual story. It's just kinda introduced as a powerful weapon, then left as an afterthought. But I'm rambling.
Percy wakes up 3 days later.
You see, New Moon? That is how you do a flash forward!
To Grover reminding him what happened, which he takes rather well.
No, 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 no. All of it was real? My mom's gone?
Oh, come on, Logan, you can do better than that. That is not the way to react to your mom dying. This is!
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Hell, I would have accepted this too!
So after Percy's little revelation, Grover reveals that he is in fact a demigod, and gives him, as well as the audience, an introduction into Ryodin's demigod universe, talking about how predominant they are.
There's hundreds in the world. Some lead normal lives, and some I'm not allowed to divulge their names are very famous. I'm talking about like White House famous.
As well as the telltale signs of being one.
I have dyslexia, ADHD.
And those are your greatest gifts. When you try to read, the words float off the page, right? That's because your brain's hardwired for ancient Greek, not English, and your ADHD. You're impulsive, Percy. You can't be still. Those are your natural battle reflexes, man.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I actually don't mind this scene that much. Why? Because, well, it shows that Columbus put some actual effort into establishing Ryodin's universe for newcomers.
After this massive exposition dump, he passes the reins over to Mr. Brunner, who reveals himself as Chiron, trainer of heroes. Chiron tells Percy that his father built Camp Half-Blood for him.
No, he didn't! Camp Half-Blood was originally meant to keep all demigods safe, as well as teach them basic survival skills. You know, kinda like Hogwarts!
And then proceeds to reveal his father as...
My father's Poseidon.
God of the seas.
Oh gee, what was your first clue? The fact that you think well underwater? Or the fact that there's tridents blasted all over your cabin?
Dumbass!
Chiron then proceeds to give Percy another exposition dump about the dangers of being a child of Zeus, Poseidon, or Hades, and how everyone thinks that he was the one that stole the lightning bolt. Which Percy denies, but he also refuses to help find until Chiron explains what would happen if the Olympians went to war.
Olympians would be forced to choose sides. Earth would become a battleground. Mountains erupted, earthquakes, raging fires.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
He then explains to Percy that he plans on taking him to Mount Olympus to plead his case with Zeus, and then sends him off to play a friendly game of Capture the Flag to the death, where we're introduced to Luke Castellan, son of Hermes, played by Jake Abel. Who decides to take Percy under his wing and sends him off to capture the opposing team's flag when he meets Annabeth Chase, daughter of Athena, played by... Alexandra Daddario.
Who are you? Okay, let me look this up. Alexandra Daddario, a soap opera actress. Okay, not gonna judge. Can she act?
My mother is goddess of wisdom and battle strategy. Do you know what that means? I always win.
Let me get this straight. You picked a soap opera actress who can barely act to play a badass like Annabeth?
No. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No. 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 Hell no. 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 I refuse. No. No.
What the hell were you thinking? That was a horrible casting choice. You know who could have been a better casting choice? Jennifer frickin' Lawrence from the Hunger Games!
So anyways, Annabeth proceeds to slice and dice Percy, leaving him unable to move.
Yeah, I'm sure all the little kids in the audience enjoyed watching their hero get skewered like a pig.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
Until the voice of Poseidon tells him to crawl to the water, which miraculously heals him, and somehow allows him to beat the entire red team, yes, including Annabeth, to win the game.
I'm sorry, I'm lost. Is your dad Poseidon or John Cena?
Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's the friend.
That night, Percy confronts Annabeth about how she could have killed him and asks her what her beef is with him, to which she responds as such.
I definitely have strong feelings for you. Just haven't decided if they're positive or negative yet.
Who the
Fruitcake.
talks like that? Talk like a normal person!
Suddenly, the bonfire erupts, and we're introduced to Hades, played by Steve Coogan, who demands that Percy bring him Zeus's lightning bolt in exchange for his mother's safety. Against Chiron's orders to stick to the plan,
You know, the whole go to Mount Olympus and plead your case crap?
Percy, along with Annabeth and Grover, decide to pay a visit to Luke, who gives them some supplies, as well as a map to Persephone's pearls, the only way for a living person to get out of the underworld.
Huh. Oddly convenient.
He also gives Percy a shield because he's such a nice guy.
We get it, he's gonna be the villain!
So with their inventories stocked up and ready to go, our heroes head off to find the pearls as the movie turns into your standard quest story. Find the item, defeat the boss, lather, rinse, repeat. While on this quest, they're able to defeat such legends as Medusa, no, not that Medusa, this Medusa, played by Uma Thurman, as well as 5 janitors that reveal themselves as the Hydra. Unfortunately, after finding the final pearl inside a building called the Lotus Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, they make a shocking discovery.
Guys, look. Tomorrow's June 21st.
No. It can't be. Today's the 15th.
No, tomorrow is the 21st. We were in there for 5 days.
Yeah, basically the inside of the Lotus Hotel and Casino runs on, like, I don't know, Gallifreyan time or something. Basically, while you're inside, time is super compressed, making days feel like hours and years feel like mere weeks.
So with just 1 day left before the gods declare all-out war, our heroes drive off to the entrance to the underworld, ironically in Hollywood, where they meet Charon, ferryman of the dead, and we get some failed attempts at humor from Grover.
Okay, we won't die and come back, but... You know what? I think I know what he wants. Yo, my friend! What up? I got a few dead people you might recognize. Check this out. Jackson, Grant, and look who's joining the party. Benjamin Franklin. There you go.
Alright, Red, you want to field this one?
The reason that bad things happen to you is because you're a dumbass.
Luckily, Percy, most likely remembering that Charon only takes Greek money, gives him some drachma they found back at the garden center where they fought Medusa. Wrong Medusa! And the ferryman agrees to take them down to the underworld.
Thanks for telling me, man. You burning money. We're in a recession. Treason. Shut up.
Oh, for God's sakes, my jokes are better than yours!
You have the right to remain.
So Charon takes them down to Hades' palace where they are greeted by Persephone, Hades' wife, played by Rosario Dawson. She takes the group down to meet Hades and he gets down to brass tacks right away asking for the lightning bolt. Percy decides to come clean and say he never stole the bolt, he just came down to convince his uncle of his innocence, which the Lord of Darkness takes rather well.
Yes. You think I'm an idiot? I'm Hades! Now give me the bolt or say goodbye to your mother!
So to show how serious he was about wanting the lightning bolt, Hades releases Percy's mother.
Yeah, just go with it.
And Percy runs to talk to her, throwing the shield Luke gave him on the ground, opening a secret compartment which begins to glow. Noticing this, Hades reaches into the shield to find
Zeus's master bolt. Liar.
Using all of her wit, Annabeth deduces that Luke was the one who stole the bolt.
You know, that could have been a great twist, you know, if they'd made any attempt to actually hide it!
Seriously, I remember seeing this at the local movie theater with some friends and thinking that Luke was the lightning thief the second they left camp to find the pearls.
And that was before I had even touched the book. Stop making plot twists so obvious!
So Hades, not giving a rat's ass about Percy's story, opens up his fireplace and prepares to execute our heroes until Persephone takes the bolt, knocks him out with it, and saves our heroes from being thrust into the gaping hole to what I can only assume is Tartarus, or ancient Greek hell. She then explains that if the gods were to go to war, she would lose the time she's allowed to leave the underworld and be stuck with Hades, who she says can be a bit of a douche, forever. After all is said and done, our heroes get ready to leave, but Persephone tells them that because they only have 3 pearls, one of them will have to stay behind. Luckily for all of us, Grover volunteers to stay, leaving Percy, Sally, and Annabeth to step on their pearls and teleport to Mount Olympus, which is now on top of the Empire State Building.
Okay, a little backstory here. In Riordan's universe, not only have the Greek gods moved to America, but even great mythological landmarks, such as the Labyrinth and even Mount Olympus itself, have made the jump across the pond as well. Yes, I'm aware of how geeky this makes me sound. Shut up!
So our heroes are just about to enter Mount Olympus to return the bolt when Luke arrives and begins to do what every cliché villain does in the end.
He starts monologuing.
Luke basically talks about wanting to see the gods go to war because of, I don't know, his daddy issues or some crap like that.
Yeah, it made a lot more sense in the book.
So after Luke's little rant about how Daddy wasn't there or some kind of crap like that, he begins his final battle with Percy, which he has the upper hand in for most of the fight, until Percy hulks up, nearly drowns him with water from a nearby tower, and then seemingly kills him with a trident made of water, while shooting off another corny one-liner.
Yeah. I think I am the son of Poseidon.
Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now.
So with mere seconds before the gods declare war, Percy is able to reach Zeus, return the bolt, tell him about Luke's treachery, and have a heart-to-heart with Poseidon, where he finds out that he was the reason Zeus forbade the gods from interacting with their children.
Yeah, so basically everything that happened in this movie is completely Poseidon's fault. Red?
The reason that bad things happen to you is because you're a dumbass.
So after all that, Percy returns home, Grover is unfortunately brought back from the underworld, having been promoted to senior protector and given his horns, and Annabeth and Percy practice fencing as we cut to the credits. The end.
Yes, I'm aware that there is a post-credit scene, but to be honest, it really contributes nothing to the overall plot. So how does Percy Jackson stand up?
The writing isn't that great, the casting could be better, and for the love of God, can we please stop casting Brandon T. Jackson in movies? He's not funny!
Once again, 20th Century Fox took way too many liberties with the source material, and there were a lot of miscasts that could have easily been fixed. With that being said, there were a few casting choices that I actually liked.
As much as I harp on his acting, Logan Lerman's definitely got Percy's leaps before he looks attitude down. And let's face it, Sean Bean is awesome, so casting him as Zeus was also picture perfect.
But to me, the biggest casting flaws had to be Brandon T. Jackson as Grover and Alexandra Daddario as Annabeth.
Daddario turned Annabeth from a smart, brave heroine into a bit of an afterthought. As for Jackson, he just made Grover annoying as hell. Personally, I think a better choice would have been someone like Sam Huntington.
As much as I'd hate to recommend another shitty movie, I would suggest you watch him in the live-action Dylan Dog adaptation to see what I mean.
Oh my God, what's wrong with my arm? Dylan, what's wrong with my arm? What happened?
They were out of Caucasian in your size.
Out of Are you listening to what you're saying? My arm is brown!
Everyone else was just kind of there and didn't really turn out any memorable performances, good or bad.
I guess the only question left to answer is, do I think this is a good movie? And to be honest, I'm really on the fence.
While a lot of the plot changes can alienate fans of the franchise, I went into this movie having never read the book, so a lot of my ranting comes from reading it after the fact.
With that being said, I was not excited to find out that, as of this recording, 20th Century Fox is working on the sequel, Sea of Monsters.
The main reason for this is that they decided to drop Columbus for Diary of a Wimpy Kid director Tor Frodenthal. And I think we all know how that piece of crap turned out.
Hey, Bryce. Yeah, hey, Bryce. Cute butt.
I'm the Hipster Ninja, saving fans one bad adaptation at a time. Oh god, this is not going to end well.
Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me, my time is now. In case you forgot or fell off, I'm still hot, knock your shell off. My money stacked fat, plus I can't turn the swell off. The franchise doing big business, I live this, it's automatic. I win this, so you hear those horns, you finish. A soldier, and I stay under you fighting. Plus I'm storming on you chumps like I'm thunder and lightning. Ain't no way you breaking me, kid, I'm harder than nails. Plus I